How's it going, y'all? Valcarion here. Welcome back to the channel. So I figured I would do a quick little overview on this new build too, just to kind of show it off. So this is the first time I did any weathering work, so we'll look at the outside real quick, and then I'll show you the inside chassis and kind of see. So that is the build. These are all MHS parts. I got a secondhand, cleaned it up. Then I sanded it with high grit. Well, I did low grit sandpaper first, and then I polished it a little bit with high grit sandpaper, just so I didn't have all the swishy lines on there from the sandpaper. But got it kind of roughed up, and then I used cotton balls and aluminum black, Birchwood Casey aluminum black, which is like a gun touch-up compound. And I rubbed that all over this. Use gloves, of course. You don't want to hurt yourself. It's an acid. I like hung it from a hook off of this little screw here, which I need to replace with an actual with an actual retention screw. That's just a screw I found in the garage that fit for the moment. But anyways, I used that to I hooked it with a tent pole and just hung it for, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes with that aluminum black, and then I dunked it in cold water. I made sure I got it all wet so that you know, to render that acid inert, and then pulled it out, dried it off, and then I used steel wool to polish away excess, and did that 2 or 3 times, I think. I think I did end up doing it 3 times. And so obviously, you know, in these grooves, really dark black because of all that stuff that's been all the times I've done it. And then obviously kind of a smokier aluminum color on the rest. And then if I get kind of close, you can see, hopefully you can see all, like, there's extra grime in different spots. There's more along there. It just looks dirty and weathered and used. So it turned out really well. Again, this is the first time I've ever done it. So you can kind of see what it looks like all the way around. And then what I also did is I used a chisel and a hammer, and I cut these grooves in. Kind of look like some kind of claw marks. I don't know, like a cat hound or I don't know, something. I've heard a couple people made jokes it was Baby Yoda or a Gizka or something because they're kind of smallish, but I don't know. I think they look cool. Just something to give it a little bit more character and give it kind of a story. So yeah, that is that. That is a 12mm switch, and this recessed hole was done. Again, I got the second hand, and it looks like it was made for one of those like big latching switches with the red button on the center. And initially, I was worried that this wasn't going to look good recessed in like that, but it really does because of the weathering. I think it adds to it. I think if I wouldn't have weathered it, it would look kind of out of place. But I really like it, and it's kind of nice. You know, it's harder to accidentally click. You know, so it's like I kind of really like it. Anyways, so that is the outside. To show off the inside, there's the speaker right there, and to get the chassis out, you just give it a little bit of a shake and it comes loose real easy. And so the speaker mount I'm using actually has a ridge on it. This is really nice. You don't need to use those chassis discs. It's just right there, and it goes right in. Let's go ahead and pull this guy out a little bit. So sorry for the camera work. So recharge ports right there, and then that is the CFX board. This time we soldered from the bottom, so pushed the wire up through the board, and then just soldered at the top, and that made it really nice, really clean, really clean solder joints without any issues or messy wiring. It's kind of nice to have it kind of all underneath. This is the new chassis disc that they made specifically for the CFX board, so there's tons of room, which made it easier to kind of do that. The last build that we did, we used I think it was the Nano Biscotti discs, and then dremelled out a hole in order to get it to fit. So kind of nice to have this now. But yeah, so pretty simple, straightforward stuff, and then obviously all these wires run up the length to the switch into the LED. But really simple, easy design. Didn't take very long at all. Plenty of space to get your SD card out if you want to, or plug into your USB chip. Overall, it was a really easy build, guys. Like, went very smooth, very quick. I'm glad they came out with the CFX chassis discs. And I'm glad we used that speaker mount that way. It just works. And then we used this extension here on the end. It came with it, and I was thinking I wasn't going to use it, but I decided to because I'm giving it more room to reverberate. And it's quite a bit louder and fuller sounding just from having that little extra, you know, inch or a half inch or whatever, it's about an inch of space added. So resonant chamber is important. I definitely recommend having a bigger resonant chamber if you can in your build. And I know people like to use those 3D printed chassis. I'm partial to the discs, and the reason why is there's plenty of room around here, and the sound can travel all the way up the whole hilt. So I'm getting tons more reverberation. So I'm getting tons of volume and clarity and really nice sound quality because it's reverberating all the way through. You can feel the vibration up here of the sound waves. So, anyways, that is the build. You can check out, I went over the single switch for CFX in another video. Check that out on the YouTube. And I feel pretty good about weathering now, and of course I've done installs, but I'm offering weathering services now as well. So if you guys end up wanting something weathered and something to look similar to this, feel free to shoot me a message on Reddit or on Facebook, and we'll chat. Anyways, guys, cheers. Have a good night.